Viewers and subscribers, welcome back to the Sports Perspective TV. As always, thank you for tuning in. And if this is your first time coming across the channel or you haven't subscribed as yet, definitely hit that subscribe button. So in this video, we're going to be previewing the West Indies versus South Africa series. As you know, the series starts on the 23rd. So we're going to be previewing the series, looking at both squads. Both teams have released their squads that will be taking part in the series. Also talking about some key players that are missing for both teams. Coming up with a possible starting 11 for the first match. And then also discussing a few West Indian players that might be joining the team, depending on how that certain IPL results go. So just stay around to the end of the video while we discuss all of these topics. So starting with the squads, I've already shared a video, talking about the West Indies squad that was named. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to go over the West Indies squad again. So the West Indies squad is as follows, right? So Brandon King is the captain, Roston Chase, vice captain, Fabian Allen, Alec Athanaze, Johnson Charles, Andre Fletcher, Matthew Ford, Jason Holder, Akil Hussain, Shamar Joseph, Kyle Mayers, Obed McCoy, Gudakesh Motie, Romario Shepherd, and Hayden Walsh. So that's the West Indies squad. And the South African squad that will be taking part in the series is as follows. So Rossi van der Dussen is captain, Otniel Bartman, Gerald Coetzee, Quinton de Kock, Matthew Bretsky, Bjorn Fortune, Reza Hendricks, Patrick Kruger, Wian Mulder, Lungi Ngidi, Henrik Noikia, Nkwaba Peter, Ryan Rickleton, Andal Filaweo, and Tabrits Shamsi. So that's a South African squad that will be taking part in this series. So as you can tell from looking at both squads, there are definitely key players missing from the team that are included in their T20 World Cup squad. Most of the players missing are due to IPL commitments. So for the West Indies team, so there's no Ravman Powell, Shimron Hetmeyer, Nicholas Pooran, Shai Hope, Andre Russell, Alzarri Joseph, or Shamar Rutherford, right? So those are the key players for the West Indies team that will be missing from this squad. Mostly due to IPL commitments, and some players are also being rested after a long IPL season. For South Africa, the missing players are Heinrich Klaasen, Aiden Markram, Kagiso Rabada, Marco Janssen, Tristan Stubbs, David Miller, and Maharaj, right? So those are the players that are in the South African T20 World Cup squad that won't be taking part in this series, mostly due to IPL commitments as well. But like I mentioned earlier, I'm not sure if the same thing applies for the South African players that are missing or that are playing in the IPL. But from a West Indian standpoint, if it has been reported by TVJ, which is a Jamaican media house, very credible. It has been reported by them that Shamar Joseph and Shai Rutherford, it's a possibility that they will join up with the West Indies team for the series if their teams do not progress to the finals of the IPL. Right, so depending on the results of the IPL playoff matches, which IPL playoffs do begin today. So if the Calcutta Knight Riders or the Royal Challengers of Bangalore don't make it to the finals, then both Alzarri Joseph and Shai Rutherford might be joining up with this team, as reported by TVJ. Right, so we just have to wait and see how the results of these IPL matches go to see if Alzarri and Shai will join the team. We definitely like to see them take part in this series before the World Cup. Seeing that they haven't played that many matches in the IPL, so they're definitely lacking match practice. So it would definitely be good if they are able to join the team before the World Cup starts. So like I mentioned earlier, so key players are missing for both teams, right? So For South Africa, with Klaasen missing, Markram missing, and Rabada and Janssen. So both Klaasen and Markram are key players in their batting lineup. You know, they are very top quality batsmen, big hitters. You know, they do score runs fast. So from a batting perspective, the South African team is definitely weakened by them not being present. Also, Janssen, who is an all-rounder, but he also bats well and score boundaries as well. David Miller as well, right? So there are a lot of key batsmen missing for the South African team. Nevertheless, you know, the batting lineup that they have with the players that are here is still very good. So Hendricks is still a top quality batsman. Van der Dussen, likewise. Quinton de Kock, you know, top quality batsman. He's proven his quality over the years. Still a top quality batsman as well. I did mention Hendricks. So the sort of Ryan Rickleton, he's also a very good batsman as well. So they still have a lot of quality in their batting lineup, even though key players are missing. Their bowling, you know, even though their bowling is missing Rabada and Janssen and Maharaj, with the bowlers that they have here with Akutsia, Norkia, and Gidi, those are still top quality bowlers, you know, in any format. Shamsi, you know, a very, very good spinner, and it will definitely be good for the West Indies to be going up. You know, top quality spin opponents heading into the World Cup, where they'll be facing Afghanistan and New Zealand. You know, both teams which have quality spinners, especially the Afghanistan team. You know, they have a lot of quality spin bowling. So for the West Indies team coming up against quality spin bowlers now is very good. Even though a majority of the West Indies batsmen won't be taking part in this series, right? So only the top order, so Brandon King and Charles, who we do expect to open, of the top, I would say of the top 7 or top 8 West Indies batsmen, though they are the only Brandon King and Roston Chase, because I do expect Roston Chase. So Brandon King, Charles, and Chase, I do expect them to be in the starting lineup for the T20 World Cup. So those are the only players in the top 8 of the West Indies expected batting lineup that will be taking part in this series. Right. So obviously, like I mentioned earlier, there's no Nicholas Pooran, no Shai Hope, no Ravman Powell, no Shimron Hetmeyer, Sherfin Rutherford, or Andre Russell. You know, most of which we do expect to start in the World Cup. So those West Indies batting lineup will definitely be weakened. But nevertheless, I still expect this team to perform well. And of the players that are in the squad in this South African series that will be in the World Cup, you know, it's definitely good for them to be going up against top quality bowling and batting opponents, right? So from a bowling perspective for the West Indies, it's more like, and Darren Sammy said it, you know, it's practice and preparation, right? And you cannot replicate match time or match fitness, right? So or match situations, right? So a lot of these players, you know, they have been on the sidelines for a while, you know, even though some of them were in the IPL, they didn't get much game time. So it's definitely will be good for them to, you know, get some bowling under their belt heading into the World Cup. So Shamar Joseph, Jason Holder has been bowling in the English Championship. So him not as much. But Shamar Joseph, Akil Hussein, Romario Shepherd, you know, it's definitely good for them to be in this series and get some game time under their belt. You know, like I said, they were in the IPL, but they didn't feature that often for their teams. So having them in this series is definitely a good look and a plus for the team, right? So going into the starting lineups now, right? So I'm going to so my predicted starting lineup for this West Indies team for at least the first match is as follows, right? So I have Brandon King and Charles opening. So let me start by saying this, right? So I think all the players who are in the T20 World Cup squad, I think they will be given first preference as it relates to there are players in the starting lineup of this South African series. I mean, it only makes sense, right, for them to get as much match practice as possible heading into the World Cup, right? So I think all the players who are in the T20 World Cup squad will also be in the starting lineups for most of the matches, if not all of the matches, right? So with that said, so this is my starting lineup. So Brandon King and Johnson Charles, of course, will be the openers. Andre Fletcher, Roston Chase. I do have Kyle Mayers in my lineup. Alec Athanaze, Jason Holder, Romario Shepherd, Akil Hussein, Shamar Joseph, and Gudakesh Motie. So that would be my starting lineup for at least the first match. So again, it's Brandon King, Charles, Fletcher, Chase, Mayers, Athanaze, Holder, Shepherd, Hussein, Shamar Joseph, and Gudakesh Motie. So that would be my starting lineup for this first match, right? So, and like I mentioned, right? So just to review, so both Alzarri Joseph and Shamar Rutherford might be joining this team if their teams do not progress in the IPL. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But this is all I have for you in this video, viewers and subscribers. As always, thank you for tuning in, and definitely share your thoughts in the comment section as well. You know, what would be your starting lineup heading into this match? Who would you include or who would you exclude from the lineup that I have named? And how do you think the team will perform in this series? As always, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you in the next